So one of the most challenging projects that we've done this year at SJP at Studio Art have been these beautiful wireframe people sculptures. And so we were really trying to just first of all brainstorm how do you get accurate proportions. And we figured out pretty quickly that using the frame of reference of the student themselves and posing them in different positions, taking photographs, finding what the right pose would be for the scene and the story that we wanted to tell was kind of our starting point. So once we figured that out, we realized that we could get large pieces of cardboard and set up our students on the cardboard, trace an outline, and then that was sort of the skeleton for our structure. We actually built loops to go around the body in various places where, just like a tailor would, figuring out like where the larger parts of the body are, where the thinnest parts are, and then that was sort of our scaffolding to attach thinner wire pieces to connect the whole frame together. Once we had a solid enough structure around that cardboard cutout, we could actually then go in and with scissors and with box cutters, just kind of piece by piece, take the cardboard out, and we kept our fingers crossed that that these would be able to kind of stand on their own. So as we removed the cardboard, we had to figure out how do we replace that structure and how do we add thicker pieces of wire to provide support so that these various poses, these dynamic poses that we had, could still be sustainable. As you can see, this sculpture here is leaning very far forward. So this is kind of a lesson just as much in proportion and form as it was in support and structure. In a way, building and using terms from architecture and engineering, having trusses, triangles, triangular forms to prop up the body. Pretty quickly figured out that we would need something more stable than just the wire frame to support this one. So we found pieces of wood, connected them together, first using glue. And when that didn't work, we supported it with clay right over top the glue. So that gave it a little bit more, first of all, weight to kind of keep the structure down on the floor. But as the clay began to dry, we noticed that it was cracking. So we actually used caulk to patch up the cracks. So it really was a matter of trying to solve the problems as they came up. And I thought that was an important takeaway for this lesson was you don't try to solve all your problems in advance, you take it one step at a time. When you see something fail, that's when the art is calling you to take action to address the problem. So we did that in a very, very kind of makeshift and piecemeal way, as you often do with a lot of types of experimental art. And I think the results are really coming along quite well. We've got two wire pieces that are going to be posed together. And the story that we're trying to tell is kind of metaphorical in a way. As you can probably see from the video or the pieces that one of our students, Sam Wu, is putting together. We have paper tree cutouts in various panes and panels that we can line up to create depth. And these characters are going to be actually traversing through this forest. So as they make their way through the forest, they find that they're connected in a really important way, either through friendship or love or trust. And that's signified by them holding hands together and just kind of being together in this imposing environment, which for us can easily be a substitute for the challenges of life. So we're trying to figure out how we can best communicate that, and I think there's some really creative solutions that we've employed along the way. So it's been exciting, and hopefully the end result will speak for itself.